We're back, and I want to welcome everybody in here for another On the Line segment brought to you guys by Harley and Holly and Billy and everybody over at Factory 14. And for this episode of On the Line, we've got a really special guest. We've got current Knoxville National Champion Ryan Timms in the house. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you've been busy and racing everywhere and working hard and all that. So I appreciate you taking the time to be with us. How's everything going? Good?
Yeah, it's going really good. Just when I'm not racing, I'm either at the race shop or working at Shane's Trailer Shop, and then going and working out after that. Just trying to work hard and, like I said earlier, get better every day.
Yeah, 100%. And that's good speech for all of us, right? So I wanted to bring you on here real quick. I was talking to Billy the other day and just saying in general, our dirt crop platform, we're working with a lot of young micro drivers from Port City. And I told Billy, I said, I'd really like to get Ryan on here and just talk about his success and how he's went from the lower ranks of the micros and running all those laps at Port and moving up to the midget and running with Keith and just to see where you and Jonesy and Billy and everybody got in your own car there with Dad and everybody else, and to where you are now with Shane and the Lee Big car. I mean, we're number one. We're super proud of you, and just love to be able to say that we've seen the rise of Ryan Timms, the driver. But not only that, just a great kid and a great family. So just want to talk to you a little bit about it. The days at Port. Go back if you can a little bit and tell us about those days when you were running the micro at I-44 and Port and kind of going around there a little bit with Billy.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm really proud to be from Oklahoma and be a Port City local. Mainly a Port City local. I-44 a little bit here, there too.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I started racing junior sprints when I was 9. I started when I was 6. I think I ran one test session, and I was actually scared, so I ended up quitting and decided to try it again when I was 9 years old, and um, went and ran some laps. And my dad, he was just kind of busy. He went and he bought me I want to say it was an Intruder chassis. It was the car that Grady Mercer had won the shootout
Yeah.
the year
Yeah.
prior in that car. So he kind of went all out, bought me the best stuff he could find,
Sure.
and he just was too busy with running his trucking company, and then he was racing himself at the time. So he just had a lot going on, and he asked. He had a guy named Mike Morrison who worked at Western Flyer. I think I don't think he works there anymore, but he worked there forever before I was born. And he took me racing for a few races, and
All
then
right.
um, he knew Billy through some connection. I'm not really exactly sure what it was, but he asked Billy if he'd come out and just give us some tips for a weekend. And he came out. I don't remember that time super well.
Right.
But he came out, and my dad took a really good liking to him. And then he offered Billy to kind of do this with me full time, kind of race locally junior sprints. And Billy was working for Sawyer at the time, I'm pretty
Right.
sure, and he had some stuff. He had a life going on in Tulsa, so it was kind of a lot to ask for him to just
Sure.
drop
Sure.
everything he had going for him and move to Oklahoma City and race a kid in junior sprints.
Yeah.
Super thankful that he did make that decision to do it. But yeah, so Billy came on, and then he took me racing across the country. We started off locally, Port City, I-44, Creek County. I don't think we ever ran junior sprints at Meeker, but places like that. And then we would run outlaw carts, junior 3, 250, and a little bit of 500 stuff in the
Right.
wintertime, um, just around Oklahoma.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, we eventually got to where we were running junior sprints on a national level, going all over the country to run a junior sprint with a toter home and uh, little trailer, Intech trailer. It was a stacker actually, but
Yeah.
uh,
Isn't that crazy to think back on now, though, to see where you started? Because, I've talked to your dad, Randy, and I think we've had that story a couple of times about how when you first started and thought, oh, this ain't going to work out, and then we're going to sell it. And the next thing you know, we're sitting here years later and you're a Knoxville champion. It's just crazy when you go back and look at all the things that had to fall into place. And like you say, all the stuff that Billy gave up to be there and what your dad did, always put you in great equipment. I mean, it's just crazy because when I'm in the pit area at Port, I try to explain to everybody, if you're good in a micro at Port City, you can run anywhere in the country. And I think you're proof of that because I say it not being a homer per se, but it's the truth. I mean, if you're competitive there, the equipment's so good. To your point, if you're running laps there, even at a young age, like you said, you get good there at Port. I mean, in the micro, it's just the amount of laps you get and being in traffic. I just think it's crazy, and to see how fast that accelerated your ability in a car and to be able to move up the ranks as quick as you did. I think it just speaks highly of Port City and the competition that run there on a weekly basis.
yeah, for sure. I agree totally. I think even now, I'm not for sure, but I think even now, the equipment is everyone has the best of the best. Where
Yeah,
I feel like when I was racing there, we had better equipment than a lot of the other guys. So we had a little bit of an advantage in that sense. And now I think it's so even. But yeah,
100%.
I mean, I remember being just super intimidated rolling into Port City every single weekend.
Yeah.
The competition was insanely good.
Hmm.
I assume it still is now.
Oh, it
I'm
is.
out
It
of it
is.
now.
Yeah.
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 But I mean, I saw even I mean, the junior sprint competition was good. All of it was just really good.
Yep.
Um, and then at that time, I saw like Frank Flood what I see as David Gravel now is Frank Flood then,
Right.
or Jeffrey Newell. He was really good there at that time. He still is. But just guys like that, it was the same, just competition, just on a different scale. And it absolutely made me the driver that I am today.
Yeah, Shane Stewart and I were just talking about the other day. If you look at the graduating class of the kids that used to race at Port and how successful they are now or have been in the sprint cars, it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
It's a who's who list. I think we've only got one Knoxville national champion, but in saying that, like you said, to your point, there's so much good competition, and it's the equipment as well, And not only that, most of the kids that are there that are young, there's so much local knowledge that's passed down from dad to son or uncle to son or a crew chief that's been on this car. So I think it just makes them so good, and you're getting so many laps. I think we're starting to see it now in the sprint car world. The ages are getting younger and younger and younger, and I think you were on the cutting edge of that. I talked
Yeah.
to, Pat, you see him at Houston's all the time, and I can remember when you guys were first going up to Houston's, and I was like, Pat, you're going to have to watch out for Ryan, because I think for me, not being in the car, and I think this is something I want to talk to you about, I think Houston's correlates really well for you in a sprint car to Port in a micro. I see, a lot of people are like, well, this usage track, what makes Ryan so good is he's so comfortable in traffic. He's almost better in traffic than when he's in clean air. And I think a lot of that comes from running those micros on those small little fifth mile bank tracks where you have to get comfortable. You have to make split decisions. And I think that's one of the things that separates you from the bulk of sprint cars, especially at the Bull Rings and at Huset's, where I think once you get to lap traffic, I think you almost become better because it's natural for you. You're comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I would agree. Port City, I don't remember it. Well, I remember it being really tight racing, but I'll see GoPro videos come up on my feed every now and again. A lot of them are Frank Flood's GoPro videos, and
Right.
I'm just like, holy crap, it is so
Exactly.
tight.
Yeah, you
Um,
forget, right?
yeah, And the one thing I do remember that really stands out is whenever you would run the top around Port City and you got guys running the bottom, it's so small and tight that they come from the bottom of the track and they drift up the straightaway to
Yeah.
arc back into the bottom, and there's like hardly any room for you to squeeze between them and the wall.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's 100% tight, and I agree 100%. I never really saw Huset's as Port City and the way you're talking about it until my dad. He said the same exact thing, that he thought I was so good at Huset's because I raced at Port City. And after he said that, I was like, yeah, I mean,
Kind of makes
I
sense.
think
Yeah.
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It's the same exact way in lap traffic as Port City is, where they're coming off the bottom all the way to the wall. You got no room,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same tightness as it is in the sprint car at Houston as it is in micro at Port. Just the track's bigger, but the cars are bigger, and
Yeah.
it just makes it really similar.
Well, and I think you're right. I think those straightaways, especially at Port, that backstretch gets really, really narrow. We had Jet
Yeah,
Nunley on last week, and the first night of the DRC, he won in all three classes, and that was one of his points was him being in the car for us not knowing. He was talking about how the exit of two now it almost levels off and gets flat, and it makes it hard because you get such a run to get down under somebody in entry for 3 and 4 because it flattens out and the car, the car gets right rear heavy, and so it makes it hard. I don't know if it flattened out a lot on exit of two for you, if you remember back in Port, but that's one of the things he was talking about. It makes it different from the front stretch than it is the back, and I think that's one of the things that makes dirt racing so appealing to, we have people on here that are listening, I hope, that don't know much about dirt racing, and for me, I think what a lot of the appeal is, you as a driver, yeah, you're getting feedback and input before you roll out. But once you roll out there, it's you. And you have to determine where the speed is, where I need to be for the car, how the car feels. I think that's one of the things that sets dirt racing apart from all other disciplines that we love as fans, right? It's for me, I see guys like you out there and you maturing as a driver, and it's not somebody in your ear saying, hey, we need to worry about maybe trying to diamond off 3 and 4 because guys behind you are a tenth quicker or whatever. It's you out there and it's you making decisions, and I just think that's super cool as a fan to realize that and understand what it takes. Even at the micro level, we say how it correlates to Husich and you running micros, but here we are talking about you being a Knoxville national champion, and there couldn't be two more opposite ends of the spectrum, I think, than Husich and Knoxville. It just shows how versatile you are as a driver. And, I know you're with a real good team and, you got good equipment, but it takes all of it nowadays. Everything's so competitive. How do you explain your success at Knoxville? I mean, what makes you, we talk about how we think you're good at Husitz, and we know that kind of correlates to the micro stuff. Kind of give us an idea what you think makes you fast and so good at Knoxville.
yeah. I mean, for starters, I think I have the best car out of anyone at Knoxville, so that's obviously a huge advantage. But like you said, once you get out there, it's you versus all the other guys. So it's I think when I first started racing at Knoxville in the 10 car, I mean, I pretty much sucked. I was terrible, and I do think that you were talking about how if you are good at Port City, you can be good anywhere. And I think that is the case for most places, but there is certain places like Knoxville where I don't think there's anything that can really prepare you super well for like Knoxville, Eldora, Port Royal, Williams Grove, just places like that. So it's just a different deal. And I always thought Knoxville was going to be easy the first time I went there. Just wide open and straight, and
Right.
it was the hardest thing for me to figure out there for a while. But yeah, I have a great crew chief, and then a big advantage for me too is my crew chief Shane Liebig, who's also my car owner. He raced sprint cars himself, so he's kind of a crew chief, car owner, and driver coach,
Right.
and
Right.
he really after the first couple nights we went there and we didn't do very good, he really kind of started cracking down on me with just watching film, learning, watching what I did wrong, watching the good guys, seeing what you should be doing. And it was just that every single weekend. Every time we'd race, go home, and then the day after we get home, we'd watch videos. Um, and I just had to be really open-minded. And even today, still, I have to be open-minded with how I can get better. And because I mean, you can always get better. There's never a perfect race.
Right, right.
Um, so it was just studying film was a big part of it. And then obviously I have a really good car. And then this kind of goes just to every racetrack, not just Knoxville, but the mental side of it, which I think everyone knows the mental deal is a big deal, but
Sure.
I think people underestimate it a lot and don't realize how important it really is. And at the start of Knoxville season last year was when I really started to take it serious. And it's hard to, explain everything I did, but just being mentally strong and motivated, and there's just a lot of factors that go into it, but just taking that part of it serious and learning from all the mistakes, and eventually it all adds up to where, like we saw at nationals, I mean, I did okay up until that point, but all the way up until nationals, I never had as perfect of a race as I did at the nationals.
Right,
And even then, it
right.
wasn't perfect, but it was pretty close to perfect. I
Pretty
felt
pretty
like,
close, pretty close.
yeah,
I think everybody else in the field would say it was really close, actually. But I love that you hit on a couple of things there, because we got so many young racers that listen to our shows and that we try to help out with Dirt Crowd and the platform and their parents. But I think you hit on a lot of things there. With technology today, we see a lot of kids that are able to hop out of a car and debrief a little bit, right? Go back and watch the video, and if they have a Billy Lawhead in their corner that can say, look, here's kind of what we're, maybe you need to open your entry here. Maybe we need to worry a little bit more about exit. I think those are things that kids and parents nowadays that have maybe a little bit more of an advantage than even you guys did when you were at Port, right? So I think the learning curve shortens a bit, because not only are we getting laps, we're actually breaking it down and looking at, hey, let's talk about what you're thinking here in the car. I mean, how's the car feel here? It's no longer just, is it tight or is it loose? We can break it down in three parts. How are you feeling on entry? How are we in the apex? How are we on exit? And those things I think you can start learning a lot more by watching video, whether it's in-car stuff of Frank or Jeffrey or whoever. But you saying that, I think a lot of young kids need to take that in, and especially the mental aspect. We try to emphasize that you're going to lose a lot more than you're going to win in the racing world, right? And it's hard to not get down on yourself when things aren't great, because you are going to lose more than you're going to win. So you can't get too high with the highs and too low with the lows. You got to stay confident. I mean, and we see it even at the outlaw and the high limit level. I mean, you see it day to day. You can see those guys that are super quick and get off just a little bit, and their confidence goes, and it takes a while to get back, because to your point, the competition's so good, the equipment's so good, the crews are so good. A little bit off now is like a ton was off even 3-5 years ago. The margin for error is just so slight anymore, and it doesn't matter if it's a micro, a midget, or a sprint car. Just, we're really blessed to have that many good cars, that many good car owners, drivers, crew chiefs. It's just, from a fan standpoint, I don't think we've ever been in a better place.
Yeah, I agree. It's 100% the closest it's ever been, and it's just every year it's going to keep getting closer and closer. But yeah, I think there's so many parts that go into it with team chemistry, your car being right, you driving the car right, the mental side of everything. There's just a lot of parts and pieces that need to be perfect, or as perfect as they can be. And I think for kids, at least when I look back on my coming up through the micros, really hard to make a kid understand. I know I never understood it, the mental side of things. And, you think no matter what, you just go out there, drive in circles, and whatever
Right,
happens,
right.
happens. Um, and I think it's really just kind of a age thing. Like as you get older, you just start to realize and learn. And um, no matter how much your dad or whoever preaches to you about what you need to be doing or whatever, it's up to you to take accountability and do it. So,
100%.
um, yeah, I think if you can get it figured out at an early age, it's a huge advantage.
Well, I could stay on here and talk to you all night. I know you've got other things to do, but I appreciate you taking the time, number one. Number two, I just want you to know you're a fantastic representation of not only the state of Oklahoma, but the brand of racing we've had here. Port City, everybody's super proud of you. We cheer for you all the time when we're not there in person. So I just want to thank you again for taking the time, number one. Number two, let you know we're in your corner no matter what. We'll see you soon. But I know you're leading the Knoxville points. Is that kind of one of the goals for you and Shane? Are you going to try to win that title for points for Knoxville, or you going to jump around a little bit and fit it in your schedule, or kind of what you got coming up real quick?
Yeah, the goal is to win every race we go to, but that's not possible, obviously. But we want to win a points championship. Just I want to have it on my resume,
Sure.
and I know Shane does too. Um, it's tough because there's a Knoxville weekly race, the United Kings Royal, and the Kings Royal. You obviously want
Oh,
to try to win that. So yeah, we talked about if I have a big enough points lead, we can miss a race and run the Kings Royal instead. But um, honestly, I know I can't run Knoxville weekly competition forever.
right, right.
So I would love to get a Knoxville championship, and that's the main focus right now.
Sure,
So
sure.
we'll just see what happens. But if we got to miss the Kings Royal to go run Knoxville, I'm sure that's what we'll do. But right now, we're just trying to get as big a lead as possible to where maybe that is an option. And then, yeah, we'll just go from there. We got aside from that, we got Huset's weekly competition. That's a big focus, trying to win that again. And then
Sure.
some big crown jewel ones like Knoxville Nationals again, want to defend that. National Open, the Tuscarora 50, um, and then World Finals, I would say. So yeah, those are all the big ones, and then everything in between, we'll just also try to win those.
Well, we're super proud of you again. Like I said, hopefully you have a large enough point lead that we can see you go run Eldora, and that would be nice to see you there. And I know you got a lot of fans that would like to see you there as well. And if we don't catch up with you before then, we'll meet up in Knoxville and sit down and have another little chat and kind of see where we are at that point. But again, appreciate you taking the time. Tell your dad I said hi if you talk to him before I do, and love having you on the platform. We appreciate it, Ryan, and wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Yeah, sounds good. I appreciate you having me on here.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. That's it, guys, for reigning Knoxville national champion and Oklahoma dirt racer Ryan Timms. We're so proud of him and love having him on this on the line segment brought to all of us by Factory 14. So appreciate you taking the time, and we'll be back and see you next time.